It is a privilege to be joined on the summit today by Tom Kautz, who is the longtime play-by-play man for the Benedictine Ravens. Tom, thank you for stopping by here today. It is playoff football time. We are down to just 4 teams left in the NAI Football Championship Series, and you got to see a good one on Saturday, and a game that really was an upset, I would imagine, knocking off the number 3 team in the country. Benedictine with a 20-9 victory at Indiana Wesleyan. Let's start right there. Talk about that win just a bit for the Ravens.
Well, Joey, first of all, thank you for letting me come on here. It's a joy and a pleasure, an unexpected one, and I appreciate that. And yeah, Benedictine played, I thought, really, really well. This is not the first time we've gone to the postseason, and we've gone up to Marion, Indiana. You're probably well aware, 2 years ago in 22, Benedictine went up there in the second round of the NAI Football Championship Series. And that game did not turn out as well for the Ravens. It was a close game until mid-fourth quarter, and they ended up Benedictine losing by maybe 2 scores in that one. So this was an opportunity for them to go back to a place that they had been before and go back and play a team that I think they maybe felt that they owed one to a little bit.
Well, you get the 20-9 victory over Indiana Wesleyan. 42-33 was the final score the week before down in Fort Worth at Crowley ISD. They're taking on Texas Wesleyan. So the playoff run pretty solid for Benedictine this year, and realistically, it's been a very good year.
It's been a good year, and you got to attribute a lot of that to this. First of all, maybe the strength of schedule. Benedictine, in the national championship game in 2018, went to Daytona Beach and played Morningside, losing the game on the last possession of the game, a bad snap on a punt and a turnover, and that spelled doom for the Ravens there. They got a deal worked out with Morningside to play a home and home with them. And we went up to Sioux City to start the season this year against, again, a Morningside team. You know how good they are. And that win for Benedictine on the road really, I think, gave them that confidence. They thought they were going to be good. They knew they could be good. And they found out up in Sioux City that they really probably were going to be a pretty good team. And for the Ravens, 2 losses on the year, one of them coming to Grandview. You know about them. They are also in this group of the last 4. And then they lost a game to Mid-America. And that game was lost on frankly, the last play of the game. Mm-hmm. So they have been very good against an extremely quality kind of a Heart of America Athletic Conference schedule.
You know, and by the way, that Pioneers team, a team on the rise, it's been a tough team for Benedictine the last couple of years, but it shows the strength, I think, of the Heart South and really what's going on there. And again, you talk about strength of schedule. You got Grandview in there. That Morningside victory, the only loss for Morningside this year. Throw Baker in the mix, and that rivalry that I know is always very, very tough. They played some strong competition to be in this position this year. I think Coach Osborne's done a fantastic job. I want to talk about him a little bit more in just a moment, but let's talk about that offense. Jackson Dooley's found a way to get things done, and he's been secured, I think, so strongly, especially in the playoffs, in the backfield by Dalton Witherspoon.
Tell you what, Jackson is a young man who was a starter last season, and I think that he has made huge strides in his skill set as a quarterback. He's gotten better. He's gotten smarter. He's just really kind of settled into the offense. And you're going to give a lot of credit to that, too. His head coach, you mentioned, we're going to talk about Coach Osborne in a little bit, but there's an old quarterback, and he's got a young quarterback there, and he's really brought him along, and he's been a great mentor for him. Other than that, you talk about in the backfield with Dalton Witherspoon. Dalton's been a workhorse, and he's not that prototypical great big pounding driving kind of a guy. I mean, he's not as small as Ernie Chavez that we saw down at Texas Wesleyan, but he is a hardworking, small town, southern Missouri, down the Ozarks kind of a guy who really played tough football in high school, and he's got a tremendous work ethic, like all of the guys on this team seems to have. And they provided a really good 1-2 punch with the running game and then the passing game. Jackson Dooley's got, I'm going to tell you, Joey, some quality receivers that allow him to throw the ball short out of the backfield, to throw the ball long, because he's got 2 extremely quick wide receivers. And Benedictine, even though you think, well, you know, they've got 3 receivers, wide receivers who are usually going to catch the ball, but during the course of a game, BC will end up throwing the football to 8, 9, 10, 11 different receivers during the course of an afternoon.
You talked about a couple of those receivers, and I know Gathright, Todd, we can talk about them and mention them specifically. Gathright now a record-setting receiver on this Ravens team, not only for the season, but all time for the Ravens in his receiving yards. What a great postseason those two have had, and as you mentioned, more.
And they are so complementary to one another on the field. And one of the things that has been an earmark of, I think, over the years, the good teams that I've had the good fortune to watch here at Benedictine, what you have a couple of guys who get along. I mean, this whole team has got a great camaraderie, and it's not like, well, you got 5 receptions this week, I only got 2. There's none of that. It's like, who is having a day, who's able to get that open opportunity, who's being successful, and they all love it. And this is just, again, one of the hallmarks of the team that's been established by the coaching staff and by the institution for that matter.
We're visiting now with Tom Kautz, who you will hear on the broadcast for the Benedictine Ravens. You've heard him for many years, and you'll get a chance to hear him on Saturday as well, as Benedictine will travel to Kaiser in the NAIA semifinal, one of 2 semifinals on the day on Saturday. I want to talk about that in a moment, but I did say we would mention Coach Osborne and what a fantastic job he has done in his time, and specifically then this season. Really, I think, it was shown throughout the year with a couple of big wins, but I think the adjustments that were made at the half down that Texas Wesleyan game, and then the way that they started off against Indiana Wesleyan, never let the Wildcats really into that game at all. Talk about what Coach Osborne means to this team.
Here's the deal. When Coach Osborne got this job 4 years ago, it was what I kind of thought was a difficult position to come into. As a coach, I don't know if I would have wanted to take over for Larry Wilcox.
No,
Larry Wilcox
no.
was Benedictine started being head coach in 1979. Matter of fact, he and I started with this program the same year. That was the year I began doing Raven games. And Coach Wilcox is a legendary guy. I mean, he's in every Hall of Fame that you can imagine, in the NAIA and the school, and he has been exemplary. He brought this program from, 40, 50 guys when he first took over the program to, the numbers and the success that they've had now. And filling those shoes is not an easy task. It's not a job that everybody's cut out to do. And when Coach Osborne came in, Larry Wilcox, I think, embraced him as his successor. And he has been there, to help, kind of point him, this is, here's what you might want to do, and some of that, and then stood back and let Coach Osborne put together his staff, and you make this program really his own as a quarterback and as a player. Joel Osborne, is a 2-time national champion at Northwest Missouri State as their quarterback. So he's got great quarterbacking credentials. He went on then to, after his playing career, he was the offensive coordinator at Northwest for the Bearcats. And so he is an offensive-minded guy, and I think you can see how that's reflected in the way this team rolls up yards and can roll up points.
Yeah, I wanted to say that too. I almost got ahead of myself. You never want to be the guy to follow the guy. But there are some coaches who can do that, and Coach Osborne has shown himself to be one of those coaches who can do that. Again, tribute to what Coach Wilcox did for so many years there. And Tom, I won't tell you how old I was in 1979, but I was around in 1979, so I know that the folks listening to us right now that weren't. So that's all right.
I tell some of the players, they will ask me, how long have you been doing this? I will tell them, I started doing this probably before your parents were born. So anyway, yeah, it's been a while, and it's been a great ride with some tremendous teams over the years. And I can tell you that this has been another one of those. And it's been a fantastic ride for, I think, the players. And I hope they appreciate it. And my son, Gus, also, who played for Coach Wilcox, he was a fullback back in the day when there were such a thing. And I tell people someday, if you want to know, I'll tell you what a fullback was, because that's a great position that I wish we still had more of. But he is my color guy, and he goes with me, and he does the games. And so, between us, we've been really fortunate to watch a lot of good football here at Benedictine.
Well, I don't want to go too much farther and go on without mentioning the defense, because I know we talked about the offense some. I think really the defense, as much as anything, I go back to the last 2 games. I mean, defensive adjustments in the second half to take on a very, very talented and strong offensive team in Texas Wesleyan. I know it's been a longer season just in the last two games, Tom, but we're in the second season now, so I really want to talk about that. Also talking about the defense and the way that it shut down another high-powered offense in the Wildcats. Tell us a little bit about this Ravens defense.
The Benedictine defense is, you look at them out on the field, and they run kind of a standard sort of I'm going to call it a nickel kind of a defense, a 42, kind of defense. The defensive front four are the heart of that. I think they are big and they are strong and they're really experienced guys. So they have done a really good job of not letting teams, get that momentum and begin to run. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They get into the backfield. The secondary has gotten better and better. And while the offensive or the defensive line is a very experienced group, the secondary is a more of a younger group, and they fly around the field. And I'm telling you what, it seems like anytime they need a big play, they need a turnover. And I'll tell you what, Benedictine's secondary, they will take the ball away. They're a bunch of little thieves out there.
Well, they have their work cut out for them this Saturday, but you get to go to a little bit maybe more pleasant weather this weekend. I've heard the high is going to be at about 75, 76 degrees there in West Palm Beach. So it should be perfect weather to get to have both teams on full display and see a very good NAI semifinal match. You take on the number one team in the country, the defending champs. Tell us a little bit about what you see in this matchup between these two teams, Benedictine at Kaiser on Saturday.
Well, a lot of people like to frame games like this as a David Goliath, as an underdog coming into the defending national champions place. I don't think Benedictine looks at it like that. I don't think that they care about it in that way. They care about it as another game. They care about it as another opportunity to play a really good quality opponent. They know how good Kaiser is. Everybody knows how good Kaiser is. And they are a young program that has developed very, very quickly. They immediately have made a significant, I don't know how to say this, endorsement of the team administratively. They want to be good, and they have put a lot of resources into putting this football team together. And so for Benedictine, I think it's a chance for them to see some new country, play on a new field that they've never been to, and get a chance to, just measure themselves up a little bit. And I think that this group, I think they feel like they're up to the task, and I think that they're very excited. Certainly I am.
Well, it should be a lot of fun. It is the first of two semifinal matchups on the day, the first kickoff of the two that will be on Saturday. And Tom, if you really quickly tell us where the people can find you to watch and or listen to the game.
Wait, is this the shameless plug opportunity?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, go for it.
Well, here we go. Well, you get a chance to listen to it, and I have worked for this radio station. I started not even before I was doing football games for them as a college student, a starving college student in 1977. I got the night shift, and I was spinning records from 5:30 till midnight, during weeknights, and then half days on the weekends, and started doing the ball games in 79. But it's CAIR Radio. It's KAIR in Atchison, Kansas. It's 93.7. And if you can listen to this, as you are well aware, because I think you probably stumbled onto it. Now with the advancement of the World Wide Web, they have a fantastic free app. It's MSC Radio, MSC, like multi-signal corporation. Anyway, they own several stations now. So MSC Radio app, or you can go just to KAIRFM.com and click the playlist and live button and get it there. And of course, if you're anywhere, within 100 and some miles of here, it's 93.7 FM. And so we're very pleased to be able to bring these games.
I'm still a fan of just on a Saturday, if I happen to be driving somewhere, just cranking either the FM or the AM dial in the car and seeing what I can pick up. Some kind of game. It doesn't even matter the sport, Tom. I mean, obviously football during the fall, but I mean, basketball, baseball, you name it. I enjoy listening and getting to hear someone who calls the game well and feel like I'm there, even if it's two teams that I wasn't thinking about before, still like that. And I have to tell you, Tom, I have heard your broadcast before. You do a great job. So I look forward to getting to hear some more of that on Saturday. Tom Kautz, who is the play-by-play man for the Benedictine Ravens, he'll be on the road. I don't know when you're leaving, Tom. It's going to have to be pretty soon. You got to get out of here at some point in time to get down there and get adjusted to that West Palm Beach climate, I would imagine.
Well, here's the deal. I have secured myself. I'm probably going to be considered like extra luggage, but I have secured a spot with the team on the charter that's going to go down. So we'll be leaving Atchison and going to KCI, which is literally from the city here in the campus, 30 minutes to International Airport. And so we'll go down there just early Friday afternoon and then be coming back on Saturday night. So we won't get a whole lot of beach time, but I'm going to soak up every little bit of 70 degrees that I can get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tom, thank you very much for taking time with us today. The Ravens on the road to take on the Seahawks. That sounds like an NFL promo right there, but well, it's all about the NAI and the national semifinals of the football championship series. Success to the Ravens then, and good luck on Saturday. And thank you so much for taking time with us today.
Joey, appreciate the time, appreciate the opportunity, and appreciate all that you do for this small college football. It's great stuff.